speaking of people talking dumb shit, Tony Khan did some media for AEW Dynasty. Are you guys excited for this? I'm excited for I talked about it on the last card, Samoa Joe in the main event. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Hell yeah. Well, yes and no. Yes and no with that. Yes and
Yeah.
no with that.
Well, because Swerve
how do we innuendo around this? Well, how do we innuendo around this? Because have you told Paul?
Well, I mean,
the affiliation.
I think he knows. I think people on the show have put 2 and 2 together. If they
okay, yeah. So I have a relative. I have a relative that works for the company.
Yeah, in AEW.
Yeah, it works for the company.
We might be looking at them right now on screen, but we might also not be. But we probably might be, but also might not.
I'll be very careful what I say next.
I got a relative that works for the company, and for me, it's really. I'm a fan of pro wrestling. Like I watch as much of it anywhere I can, wherever I can.
Yeah,
even this, and it's hard.
There's no heat behind the card, but on paper, all these matches are like, holy shit, this is great. But like, there's only really heat in the Swerve Joe match. Like, there's really, and even that's kind of, I'm sorry, but that feud, I'm still like, it's 2 fucking heels fighting at this point. God damn it, we need someone to go ultra baby.
Are they tweeners now? Because I'm looking at it like this. Like, okay,
I look at Joe is heel and Swerve still hasn't redeemed himself enough for me to go. He's a tweener.
He broke in somebody's kids.
That's what I'm saying, and I love Swerve, but like he needs to fully redeem himself. And then we have like Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong with all that history. Man, you couldn't have built up to this match. Like, and like expect me to watch the shit on Collision and factor it into the story on Dynamite.
Who watches Collision?
No one watches Collision. Yeah, it's like, so you can't do that, man. So I get like Dave's going, there's too much storytelling, which we'll get into Dave in a second.
Too much storytelling. What the fuck?
Yeah, the
too much storytelling.
Has no heat, man, behind it, but the card on paper looks great. You know, yeah,
Okada. It's like universe mode. It's like Tony Khan's playing universe mode, and you just throw all the shit in there, but it doesn't mean anything if there's no stories to it. I mean, and for various other reasons, I got problems with Swerve with his verses. You know, when he's making references to things and calling it black and ugly, and we're supposed to forget about that. A lot of us on it. Yeah, he had a verse. He made a verse in one of his horrible songs because he's just not good at rapping. He's not good at rapping at all. Like, I get that the homies tried to put him on or whatever. The only thing cool about the song is the hook and Nana dancing.
Yeah.
But I've met him in person. Good, cool dude. Very cool dude, but just the rapping thing, it's not hitting. But he made a reference where he was making a rap song or whatever, and then he said like, I got a girl who was black and ugly or some shit, and I'm like, yo, like a bunch of us, and I'm prefacing my outrage because like I'm not on the screen. I am of mixed descent. I am black and Samoan, and on both sides I was insulted. For this match, I'm insulted because I'm like, bro, I'm supposed to forget about that. You want me to cheer for you? Yeah. And on top of that, you breaking in people's houses and you rap horrible. Like, it's like, no, I'm not. No, we're not doing this.
He was Swerve, dude.
We're not doing this. Look at Twitter. You could look it up. Lots of us have problems with that part because they want us to forget it. And I want to see him do well. I want to see everybody do well. But the thing is like, okay, you just now did right by Joe, which y'all should have did the moment he got in, the same way they should have with Rusev, or I can't remember what Mero, whatever. Like, they should have did that. They ruined it. So it's like they was trying to learn for what they did the first time, and then you get a champion because the MJF shit, him as a babyface was just not working, and it was horrible, and it ended the way that it was supposed to. Now he does a promo, no match. He ain't even like ending it. Like, they don't treat their champion with the same reverence they did when it was MJF every 10, 20, 30 seconds, when it was Moxley, when it was Jericho.
Even Moxley, look at this homecoming shit on Dynamite. Like,
oh my
he
God.
won the New Japan title, and you guys are giving him this oh, welcome home. Like, what the
Where is your
fuck, dude?
champion? What about your champion? Why
Yeah,
is your
they-
champion not on here?
Story, like here's the story. You build the story that Moxley's going to go to Japan and bring that belt back to AEW and whatever. Like, they didn't build any of that. Just all of a sudden, the New Japan storyline's like, yeah, we're trying to break into America, so here's the belt, Mox, and then they give him a homecoming. They give
Didn't they
Mox
try that with the U.S. Championship or with the New Japan United States Championship? They tried that. We
and
tried
it's just
that.
like Joe the first, he's your world champion. Like, look at how Raw gives Cody the first like 30 minutes of the show. Give Joe the first fucking 20 minutes to get
He
his shit
doesn't even
over.
open the show. He gets a
Crazy to
2-minute
me.
pro.
So bad.
Where's the last time he had a match after this recent one? You can't reference it, and then all you're gonna do is just fast track this shit with Swerve when it wasn't even resonant. We didn't even like finish what was going on with him and Hangman, who also got more shine as when he was champion, as much as an abysmal like watch that constantly was. There's a reason why they pivoted to Jericho in the beginning, but now you're gonna, because they're not very good at like blurring the lines. You're gonna hand it off to Swerve just so he can fucking lose it to Ospreay.
Yeah, at fucking Wembley or whatever, dude. That's what it's it's all building to Ospreay.
I don't know, Paul. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in this? Does it not look? What does it look like it's going? Because that's where it looks
That's
like.
what it looks like to me. It just looks like whoever has the belt. Now, I could see Joe maybe defending it against Swerve, but I just think no, it's Swerve's time, right? Like, there's no way they can have Swerve lose again. But it's just the story. Like, I don't care who even wins it because there's no fucking story. Paul Nolan, what are you looking forward to on Dynasty, and what is your basically what me and Marty were just putting down there?
Couldn't give less of a shit about any of it, quite frankly, because I've not been given. I have not been given a reason to give a shit. In fact, the only thing that made me even remotely interested in watching Swerve and Joe on Sunday was that spot on Wednesday where Swerve went right through all those security guards off the top rope and then landed on his feet. That's the only thing that made me go, okay, that might be worth watching. But other than that, this is like just listening to Marty and yourself, Phil, talk about this for the last few minutes. It just sounds like everybody talking about like 2017 to 2019 WWE creative. It's just like, it's basically, they don't see, like the marks don't see that they have effectively created another Vince.
They did. Tony McCon. So I called it on the live stream. I called him Tony McCon, and he's slowly becoming Vince McMahon. If you guys haven't yet, at Pro Wrestle Clips, I did like a 30-minute clip.
Or Vince Russo.
Where I'm talking about, how Tony Khan is slowly, like, he's spread too thin. He's in too much creative. He's switching shit up on the fly last second. He thinks he knows what's good creative. Oh, it's good shit.
Begging people to stay at shows.
Yeah, and Tony's just scooping guys up so other places can't have them and stuff, and not knowing what to do with them. He's incredibly out of touch. His hands are in too much. He's spread too thin. He's booking everything. He's at every show. He's not sleeping. Oh, this is great. He's becoming, and then all of a sudden on Dynamite, they cut to the Bucks, the EVPs. They're in Gorilla with Tony Khan behind the monitors, and Tony Khan's trying to look all tough, and they're like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Yeah, it's great. So he's like becoming Vince McMahon, bro. He's becoming Tony McMahon. I'm telling you guys, man.
That reminds me. That reminds me of a story of we had a live Raw that I went to once in Liverpool, in my hometown. And basically it was back in the days when, the creative was so bad, like the crowd would go into business for themselves and they'd shit all over everything and watch chant everyone. And this was happening like during like even like tapings and stuff like that. And then basically Vince came out and went full heel on us and was like, giving it the whole like, you people and all of this stuff. And you people, who do you think you want?
I come to your town and you don't automatically like the shit I'm giving you.
Listen to what he said. He goes, Liverpool, it sounds like a disease. I've got a really bad case of the Liverpools.
Yeah, I've got a bad case of the Liverpools. It makes
my liver is in a pool.
I Liverpool, that's why I took a shit in front of that girl.
And the funny thing is that got the biggest pop of the night, which was fucking hilarious. And it's like, it's so reminiscent of what's going on with Tony now. I mean, I didn't think it was a meltdown he had, but it was definitely like it reeked of desperation. You know, you've got to contextualize this in like, you know, that story the other week about Tony Khan being in Philadelphia, like, you know, welcoming fans to WrestleMania at Philadelphia Airport
I'm
because
here
he's
at the
just so
airport
like
shaking hands in Abu Dhabi before the crown jewel. Yeah,
so weird. Yeah, it's just so weird. Like, but you know, getting back to the point, like they haven't given me a reason to give a shit about any of this, and it's just Tony running his e-fed
oh yeah, it's a
for
great
real
show.
because it looks amazing on
Dynasty.
paper. And it's like, yeah, there'll be some great spots or whatever, but you know, where's this going? I mean, I'll finish off by saying this about going back to Becky's interview with Chris Van Vliet, which is an amazing listen, by the way. She talked about the differences, and she talks about it apparently in a book, and she confirmed a lot of what we'd heard. Like, you turn up 6:30 p.m., your creative's completely ripped up. You've got to start all over again by the time the show starts at 8. You know, there's that stuff was contradicting itself from week to week. And obviously that was very obvious by seeing what we were seeing on TV week to week. But she said Triple H has got vision, has a long-term plan, and sticks to it.
Yeah,
like
and Tony Khan is pulling the Vince. He's pulling the Vince and apparently changing. We've heard Wrestling Observer say it, and they wouldn't lie about that because they just suckle from the teat.